It's a great pleasure to welcome you all tonight to the 6th Annual Evening for Hope. I just can't say how moving it is to see a room this full, to have such an incredible group of people here supporting us. I really want to take this opportunity to thank the Ladue High School Strolling Strings. Were they not incredible, those kids? Russ has already recognized our VIPs, but I want to also recognize them and thank them for their presence, especially Ambassador Young. I had the honor of getting to have lunch with him a number of months ago to ask him if he would be willing to come and speak to us. And he's a man with such an incredible background of experience and things that he's done. It'll be a joy and a pleasure for all of us to hear what he has to say. And of course, Archbishop Gregory and Russ Spencer. As I said earlier tonight, we have had 6 Evening for Hopes. Archbishop Gregory and Russ Spencer have participated in every one of those 6, and it is now an official rule passed by the state legislature. We cannot have Evening for Hope without the 2 of them there, so thank you both for being here again. The work of the host committee this year, I can't say enough about it. We brought together a group of people, many of whom I had developed some relationships with in the best class ever, Leadership Atlanta 2012. Yeah, and asked them if they would serve with us, and they did. And this committee, we set a goal of $200,000 in sponsorships, which was the largest goal we had ever set. Brantley said, we can do this. The committee said, we can do this. Well, we didn't only do this, we exceeded it by $17,000, and the money's still coming in. So thank you so much to that incredible group of people. And our board of directors and our staff, who together, all 3 groups brought in the work. You know, when you thank people, I always hesitate to thank specific people because then I'm going to forget somebody, and I don't want them to feel like their contribution was any less than anybody else's. But there are a couple of people in particular on my staff that I want to point out. Our staff I am blessed with the best staff that any person in management has ever been blessed with. And this year, we have a brand new communications director who's been with us for less than 4 or 5 months, and she stepped up and put this thing together hand in hand with our development director, Jim Verrecchia, who's been here with us for 5 years. So to Terry Medina and Jim Verrecchia and all the staff for the work you did, thank you very, very much. And most of all, thank you. Thank all of you that came here tonight and helped us make this event a success. I feel sorry for Brantley tonight because he and Sharon went to the Braves game last night, and tonight the Bulldogs are not doing so good, but I feel good that I saved him from going to Columbia and having to put up with that in person. But you know, the way the Braves played last night, the poor pitcher who had won 24 games in a row and then unfortunately lost that game, reminded me of the story of this little boy, and his parents are out in the porch, and they're looking out, and this little kid's running around the backyard, and he's got a baseball in one hand, he's got a bat over his shoulder, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, "I'm the best hitter in the world." And he runs, and he stops, and he throws the ball up in the air, and he takes a swing at it and misses. He says, "Oh, strike 1." So he stands there, he says, "I'm the best hitter in the world." And he throws the ball up in the air, and he swings, and he misses. "Strike 2. Not daunted, he takes the ball, he says, "I'm the best hitter in the world." Throws the ball up in the air, swings, misses. Strike 3. The kid stops, pauses, he goes, "I'm the best pitcher in the world." So we'll take that to heart. As was mentioned, we held the first Evening for Hope right next door to this building in the Cobb Galleria 6 years ago. And that night we had a little over 200 people. And at the end of the night, we raised about $12,000 for St. Vincent de Paul. Tonight, as was mentioned, we gather with almost 500. And through the work of the Coast Committee, the board, the staff, and you, we have raised over $217,000 in sponsorship dollars. It's quite a change over 6 years. But there has been more than just an increase in dollars and event attendance that has been accomplished to help those in need over the last 6 years. And there's much that still remains to be done. Tonight, we gather at this 2012 Evening for Hope to both celebrate what was accomplished and to commit to what is yet to be accomplished. The word hope. It's a word that we've used for the last 6 years to designate the purpose of the evening. So it's worth a moment to reflect on the word hope. I think one of the best descriptions of what hope means is unwavering expectation sustained by the Spirit. But if you look hope up in the dictionary, you'll see it's used as both a noun and a verb. As a noun, it's defined as a desire, a longing, or a dream. As a verb, however, the meaning changes, subtly yet undeniably. Hope becomes a word that frames action. Desire becomes desire for. Longing becomes longing for. Trust becomes trust in something. Hope changes from a thing to an aspiration and an ambition rooted in action. It becomes hope in action. So tonight, we again name this evening an Evening for Hope, but we add something to that theme. We add action. Because it is action that defines who we are, what we do, and more importantly, what we intend to do. Hope in action, driven, in the words of the Reverend William Sloane Coffin, to, quote, arouse, as nothing else can arouse, a passion for the possible. As we commit to convert that passion to action, we trust that when the world around us says, give up, hope will whisper in our ear, no, try one more time. And so we take action. There's a story that some of you have heard me tell before. It's the story of a city, a beautiful city on the bend of a great river. And the city was a prosperous city, and the people were happy. And one day, as the people strolled on the banks of the river, and the children played on the water, they saw 3 bodies floating down the river from up around the bend. So the people jumped in and pulled the bodies out and ministered to them. One of the people was dead, so they buried him. One was sick, so they sent her to the hospital for care. And one was a child, so they placed him in a caring and loving home to be nurtured and to grow. The next day, as people again strolled on the banks of the river and the children played in the water, 3 more bodies came floating down the river from up around the bend. The people again jumped in and pulled them out. And again, one was dead and one was buried. One was sick and was tended to. And the child was placed in a home to be raised. This continued every day for weeks, then months, then years. The people of this great city became quite adept at pulling bodies from the water and tending to them. They established procedures and policies. They built hospitals and homes to care for and house the people floating down the river from up around the bend. They created awards and honors to recognize those that had helped pull the bodies and tend the people. They did good things, and it helped many people, and it was good. But the problem was that in all those weeks and months and years, not once did anyone suggest they go up the river, around the bend, and find out why those bodies kept floating down the river, and then try to stop it from happening. That story has a relation to our vision and our mission and our goal of hope in action. For what we seek to do is to marshal our resources in collaboration with others to go up that river. We seek to take action that addresses the causes of those bodies floating down and try to help stop it from happening. Our goal is to do something. Our vision is to be a ripple of hope that, together with the many ripples of hope generated by others, help change the lives of those we serve. Our vision, no, rather our commitment, is to be hope in action. As a family of Vincentians serving Georgia, we help all who come to us, regardless of background or faith. Often that help is to get someone over a bump in the road of life, an injury, the loss of a job, a fire, or some other calamity that requires a short-term lift financially, materially, or spiritually from a caring and loving person. Just as often, we see people who are mired in cycles of dependence and poverty. They are the new working poor, the single parents, those who can only get so far each and every month, then fall just a little bit short. How we help these people, how we develop programs to break them out of these cycles of poverty and dependence is the challenge we will continue to face over the coming years. It is not an easy challenge, but we are heartened that we do not do it alone. Each of you here tonight, especially the generous sponsors of tonight's event, support and sustain our work with your financial contribution and the power of your presence and your faith. We are also actively building collaborative relationships with others who share in our commitment to helping those in need. Together with organizations like the Atlanta Community Food Bank, the Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency, Refugee Resettlement and Immigration Services, Kroger Supermarkets, Walmart, St. Joseph's Hospital, Credibility, which is the former Consumer Credit Counseling Services, and the Methodist Church, and too many others to name, we have already established programs that provide help in a holistic manner to address the causes of poverty, need, and dependence. And we are nowhere near finished. There are many other relationships we hope to build with like-minded people and organizations. People like my friend Rabbi Peter Berg of the Temple in Midtown Atlanta, where they operate the Zabin Couples Center, one of the only homeless shelters in Atlanta where families can stay together as they try to put their lives back on track. Peter and I and our respective staffs are discussing and planning how the Zabin Center and St. Vincent de Paul can work together to make 2 + 2 = 5 to support people in need. We continue to work with our great supporter and friend Milton Little at United Way and his incredible staff to address issues of need and help fill holes in the delivery of services to those in need. The Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta, the Catholic Foundation of North Georgia have been active and valued supporters in helping us obtain the resources we need to help put hope in action. I'm honored tonight by the presence of my friend Bill Nigut, Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League, an organization that offers incredible programs and services for children, especially around early childhood education and helping children cope with the challenges of bullying and social acceptance in school. What greater action can we take to prevent poverty and dependence tomorrow than helping our children succeed today? Bill and I have already begun to talk generally about how can we work together to support each other and the people we serve. There are many more out there, and we seek to work with each and every one. This isn't going to be easy, but it's something that has to be done. We've made some great strides already. Tonight, I'm very pleased to report to you that the Food Recovery and Distribution Program that we announced 2 years ago at Evening for Hope is picking up, processing, and distributing out to our 36 food pantries over 10 tons of food per month. Perfectly good, nutritious food that is going onto the tables of hungry families rather than in the dumpsters at the back of supermarkets only because it's reached a shelf expiration date. I'm also thrilled to announce to you tonight that we just received $25,000 from the Cox Foundation to expand the food distribution program and purchase a second industrial-sized refrigerator and freezer so we can serve more people and bring more food to those that are hungry. In another program area, in honor of Evening for Hope, Wells Fargo awarded us a $10,000 grant to expand our transitional job training program to help people break out of cycles of dependency and need. These and many other affirmations of support for what we are doing affirm for us that our direction and goals are proper and that we are addressing the needs of the community. Still, it will not be easy. So as we develop and implement these programs, we always keep in mind that we do these things not to create systems and procedures and bureaucracies, but to keep bodies from coming down the river. Make no mistake, there will be times when we will become frustrated and despondent in the face of the challenges before us. There will be times it will seem like we're the little Dutch boy putting our finger in the dike. There will be times, as there are now, when the need will overwhelm the available resources. It is in those times that we will always look back on hope, because it is in those times that hope will carry us forward. And the hope that carries us forward will be the hope of action of the individual human person. Because what differentiates us and what makes us unique is that what we do is so incredibly focused on the person-to-person caring and love between members of our human family. So in the times when our hope in action sometimes feels like a lot of action and not so much hope, we will recall the words of Thomas Merton, who wrote, "Do not depend on the hope of results. You may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless and even achieve no result at all, if not perhaps opposite results of what you expect. And as you get used to the idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, and the truth of the work itself. You gradually struggle less and less for an idea and more for specific people, because in the end, it is the reality of personal relationship that saves everything. Action, rooted in faith and hope, focused on the individual, the person, that is what matters. And if that is what we do, if that is who we are, then we will not and we cannot fail. I want to thank you all for being here, helping us share in this vision, helping us make this vision a reality. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for your support.